It was supposed to be another day on set, lights blazing, cameras rolling, a director muttering the familiar from the top, and a crew that knew exactly how to move like clockwork. Can and Demet had done this 100 times. They knew the beats of a scene, where to pause, how long to hold a gaze, when to let the breath quiver just enough to make the audience feel it at home. But on this particular day, something subtle, and yet undeniable, shifted. The camera wasn't the only witness, the crew felt it too. A silence fell when the director yelled cut. Not the usual hush of professionals resetting their marks, but the strange, reverent quiet you hear when something real flashes through make-believe. They were supposed to play it like always, a confession that comes too late, a hug that lingers just long enough, a look that says heartbreak and hope in the same frame. Only this time, the look didn't feel like acting. Can's jaw set with a tenderness that didn't belong to the character. Demet's eyes blurred, not the controlled glassy shimmer that actors master, but the kind of wetness that threatens to spill without permission. The camera caught it, drank it in, and amplified it. You could almost hear the sound of millions of hearts leaning forward. When the take wrapped, neither rushed to the monitors. Neither cracked a joke to defuse the charge. They just stood there. Two people who knew they had stepped, if only for a second, across a line that divides performance from confession. By the time the clip reached the editing room, the energy inside that footage felt volatile. Editors trimmed and tucked, but nothing could mask the rawness. This wasn't a perfect scene. It was a perfect accident. And then came the whispers. Crew members who'd seen everything swore they'd never seen this. The gaffer said he forgot to breathe through the last 10 seconds. The script supervisor with the iron memory blinked and lost a line. It was just a scene, they kept repeating, like a charm against superstition. But the more they said it, the less it sounded true. The first leaks were harmless, a blurry behind-the-scenes photo, a caption with a heart that could have been a throwaway. Still, the comment sections ignited. Fans knew these too. They studied body language like detectives. And the verdict was swift, that wasn't acting. If a tiny spark existed, the internet was about to become a forest of dry leaves. Chemistry is the oldest trick on screen. Make the audience believe, and they'll fill in the rest. But the thing about Can and Demet is that chemistry wasn't enough to explain what people felt. Fans used bigger words: fate, destiny, real. Clip compilations appeared overnight, stitching together smiles, sidelines glances, the way their footsteps synced up without trying. There were slow-motion edits and heart-thump audio tracks, timestamps annotated like case files. People did the thing that turns chatter into phenomenon, they cared. The story matured in hours. A micro-moment, his hand grazing her wrist, her shoulder softening, became 1,000-comment thesis on YouTube. Watch the left corner of his mouth here, one fan wrote. He fights a smile and loses. Another pointed out the physics of proximity, look how they move closer even when the director calls cut. And then someone noticed a detail that would soon become the core of a wildfire, a line, improvised or slipped, that included the word family said with a weight that didn't belong to fiction. This is how the internet stages a crescendo. First you get an edit. Then you get a theory. Then someone screenshots a 4-year-old quote, lamplights it with a trembling caption, and stitches it to a new photo. A rumor is born not from a single claim but from the braid of coincidences. In this braid, there were 3 strands, an unusually raw scene, a trail of affectionate professionalism that looked like something more, and, most combustible of all, a weekend post that hinted at a future we never planned for. It wasn't proof. But it wasn't nothing. By Monday morning, the groundswell had a shape. Hashtags pulsed, hashtag Candemet truth, hashtag not just acting, hashtag they crossed the line. The language was intense, a mix of giddiness and protectiveness, fans pleading for privacy even as they begged for answers. We don't need confirmation, one viral tweet read. We just need them happy. Another went further, they owe us nothing, but that scene owed us the truth. Enter the tabloids. They never miss a scent like this. Headlines learned the formula, a question mark to shield responsibility, a breathless subhead, a grainy photo. Did something happen? Did a performance crack open something real? And why, they poked, was there suddenly such careful silence in both camps? Rumors rarely start with the climax. They germinate in the soft, uncertain middle, where a phrase can mean two things and a pause can hide 100. The baby rumor began almost politely. A fan posted a still from the scene. Demet's character rests a hand low against her abdomen as she leans into Can. It's a well-known acting choice, a protective gesture in moments of vulnerability. But out of context, it looked like a signal. Was that scripted? A comment asked. Or instinct? Replied another. By evening, the question mutated, was it acting, or was she trying to say something? Then came the second spark, a deleted IG story. It was simple, just a late-night tea, a quiet playlist, a caption about new beginnings. It's the kind of caption that could fit anything, a new role, a new routine, a new book. But rumor is a collage. Once pasted into the existing board, last week's charged scene, last season's interviews, the ever-present nostalgia, the words took on glow. New beginnings soon wore one meaning only. By Tuesday, entertainment accounts had their punchline ready. Is a surprise on the way? They wrapped it in disclaimers, pure speculation, but arranged the elements to scream the very thing they pretended not to say. The thumbnails featured baby emojis, the kind you can't unsee. One outlet cited a source close to production, claiming the director adjusted blocking to be gentler around Demet. Another source said Can had quietly asked for shorter night shoots. Normal adjustments. Always are. But in a rumor storm, normal becomes narrative. Fans split into camps. The hopefuls wrote essays about full-circle stories, love that starts in fiction and ends in forever. The cautious begged fellow fans not to push. Let them breathe, one comment urged. Let them choose what stays theirs. But even the protectors couldn't look away. Everyone kept watching, counting, guessing. Love and curiosity make a dangerous duet. Publicists tried the usual triage. No comment on personal lives. Please respect privacy. Focus on the work. The problem was that the work had become the evidence. The scene was still trending. The clip had a life of its own, whispering its uncertain promise into millions of feeds. If it's not true, a fan tweeted, why does it feel so true? Something became clear, this wasn't a scandal born of malice. It was a rumor born of longing, an audience that had fallen in love with two people, not just two characters, and now wanted the story to escape the frame. In that longing, the baby rumor transformed from idle gossip into a wish, and wishes, unlike facts, don't submit to statements. Silence is not the same as avoidance. Sometimes it's a strategy. Sometimes it's a refuge. For Can and Demet, it became both. In the eye of the storm, they did the most un-internet thing imaginable, they said nothing. No cryptic quotes. No reactive denials. No playful teases that could be weaponized in either direction. Work posts went up as usual, trailers, behind-the-scenes smiles, gratitude for a crew that hustles, and yet even the normal felt lit from within by subtext. Industry watchers saw the calculus. If you deny, you feed it. If you confirm, you inflame it. If you joke, you trivialize what might be serious. The only card left is stillness, and stillness is a kind of courage. But stillness also creates a vacuum, and the internet fills vacuums with confidence. Commentators turned into body language experts overnight. Look at the protective stance. Notice how he shields her from the press cluster. Count how many times she touches her necklace in the interview, classic tell. The human brain is a pattern factory. Give it noise and it will draw a melody. Meanwhile, inside the machine of production, work continued. Scenes were blocked, lines rehearsed, continuity preserved. If adjustments were made, they were made for 100 practical reasons that make sets humane. But every ordinary kindness now risked becoming Exhibit A. A PA offering a chair turned into a rumor thread. A wardrobe choice, a softer silhouette, a layered top, became forensic territory. The old saying goes, once a narrative takes root, the facts become customs officers, not judges. They stamp what fits and wave it through. And yet, a gentler narrative was quietly winning hearts. It said, what if this is actually not our business? What if two people who have given us years of joy and escape deserve a chapter that belongs only to them? The comments yearning for privacy began to go viral too, an unexpected counter-trend. We'll watch the show, one fan wrote, but we won't demand the life. That stance, protective, patient, felt like a new kind of fandom power. Still, the spotlight is a stubborn thing. It follows. It finds. It amplifies. Even their kindness, thanking fans, applauding colleagues, lifting charities, became framed by the rumor. Look how gentle, read one caption under a clip of Ken greeting staff. He's different now. Look how radiant, said another, praising Demet at a press event. There's a glow. Humans see what they desire to see, and Desire was the uncredited director of this entire story. If part 4 was about stillness, part 5 is about motion, and the internet knows only one kind, acceleration. A fandom account launched a timeline thread, the digital equivalent of a corkboard with red string. It chronicled every micro-moment. The scene, the caption, the interviews, the stylist's post, the florist's story, yes, even that. It was obsessive but oddly tender, less a trial than a love letter disguised as evidence. We are not entitled to their truth, the thread began, but we are captivated by their grace. Then, as happens in every viral arc, came the receipt that wasn't a receipt at all, a rumor that a prop baby blanket had been used on set as a rehearsal cue. Anyone who knows filmmaking knows that rehearsal props are common, innocuous. Yet when seen through the rumor lens, a blanket is not fabric but foreshadowing. Another post claimed a friend of a friend spotted them at a clinic, classic folklore framing. No photo. No timestamp. Just the confidence of I know someone who knows. Media literacy advocates tried to intervene. Check your sources. Protect the people you claim to love. Rumors can hurt. These posts gained traction, and rightly so. It is possible, after all, to be enchanted by a romance on screen and still practice kindness off it. But enchantment is a heady thing. It blurs lines. It tells you that you're part of a destiny unfolding live, that your speculation is participation, not intrusion. Somewhere in the fervor, an older interview resurfaced, one where both had spoken, separately, about family, about timing, about the fragile ways ambition and intimacy collide. Neither said anything definitive. Both sounded like people honoring their craft and their humanity in equal measure. Fans clipped these lines, overlaying gentle piano, typing captions that read like vows. Sometimes the internet doesn't invent stories, it curates them. And beneath the noise, a quieter question emerged: what if the truth, whatever it is, deserves a stage crafted by them? What if the most romantic outcome isn't a forced reveal but a chosen one? This thought began to taper the edges of the discourse, sanding it from a demand to a hope. Not tell us. But tell us if and when it's yours to tell. Fame is a bargain, you trade anonymity for the chance to be part of people's lives at scale. But it's a bargain with fine print. The audience that loves you can also swallow you. In this chapter, the baby rumor became a mirror reflecting the appetite of the moment, how deeply we crave a love that outlasts the credits. We root for the story to break free and become real, as if that realness justifies the emotions we felt on our sofas, in our headphones, in the afternoons we spent rewatching scenes that comforted us when life was messy. But real people carry real costs. If Can and Demet laughed at a rumor, it might wound the fans who built castles in the air. If they confirmed it, the castle becomes a fortress, demanding tours. If they denied it, will the denial satisfy or simply seed a fresh wave of their hiding it? Every path leads back to the same crossroads, agency. Who gets to tell the story? There's also the professional terrain. Careers are structures balanced on choices, partnerships, brands. Announcements, of any kind, reverberate beyond a headline. Scripts shift. Schedules bend. Deals recalibrate. The rumor ignores that complexity. It paints everything with a single brush, love. And love is not a brush, it's a whole studio. So the silence held. The work continued. And in that decision, a lesson surfaced, one that fans began, slowly, to echo: we can celebrate the magic without colonizing the life. We can treasure the scene that felt like lightning without insisting the thunder belongs to us. In the meantime, something beautiful did happen. Charity streams and their names rose. Fan projects donated to causes the actors support. Edits swapped baby emojis for book drives, hospital fundraisers, animal shelters. If a rumor can be retooled into kindness, it's still a rumor, but at least it leaves gentleness in its wake. And yet, the ache of curiosity lingered. We are human. We want endings. We want reveals. We want certainty. But perhaps the only certainty here is that what moved us in that scene was neither tease nor PR. It was two artists meeting in the middle of a story and, for a moment, letting something true ring through. That is already a gift. It is enough, or it can be, if we let it. If there's a finale at this point in the arc, it may not be the one the internet expects. It is not a press conference, not a tabloid exclusive, not even a shadowy paparazzi shot with a caption that pretends to be revelation. The finale, for now, is a choice: to treat the most intimate rumor as a closed door. Not slammed. Just gently, deliberately shut. Imagine this instead: another day on set. The same crew, a little more protective. The same director, a little more reverent. The clapboard snaps, the camera hums. Can and Demet step into frame, into lines written by someone else and made alive by them. They do the thing that started all of this: they act. And in the spaces between the words, they grant each other the grace of privacy. The audience watches, breath held, feeling again that tug that says something here is honest. It might be the craft. It might be more. But it is theirs. The rumor, the baby rumor, will circulate in smaller loops now, like a kite that doesn't catch the wind. People will still wonder. They may even hope. But the tone has shifted, from extraction to blessing. Whatever the truth is, a top comment reads, "May it come to them softly." That's not a clickfarm sentence. That's a prayer. If there is ever an announcement, of love, of life, of new beginnings, it will come in their words, on their timing, to their audience, the way it should. And if there isn't, then what we already have is not lesser. It is a scene that changed us because it felt like life. And maybe that is the point. The best art reminds us of what we crave, not what we're owed. As the camera pulls back, the crew exhales, the director smiles, and the day ends like all days do, on human terms. Two people, stepping off their marks, walking past the monitors, trading a private, unremarkable joke that will never trend and never need to. It's a quiet ending. The kind that endures. Let's separate three things. What we know: there was a scene that felt more than scripted. It spoke to millions. It sparked conversation, edits, headlines. What we don't know: the private contours of two lives, any plans or milestones whispered in rooms with no cameras. What we feel: hope, nostalgia, the thrill of a love story that refuses to stay flat on a screen. Between these truths, a choice appears, ours. We can keep refreshing for clues, or we can honor the magic already given. The baby rumor, in all its soft-edged persistence, tells us more about ourselves than about them: how hungry we are for love that looks like destiny, how fiercely we want happy endings, how easily we mistake closeness for claim. So here is a different ending, the kind that respects distance without dimming devotion. We keep watching the work because it is extraordinary. We keep supporting the people because they are human. And we let the most tender chapters unfold where all sacred things do, away from the noise, close to the heart. If one day we hear news, be it a role, a vow, a lullaby, we'll celebrate within the boundaries they draw. And if that day never comes, the scene that started it all will still stand, a moment when two artists crossed an invisible line, not into scandal, but into truth. They gave us lightning. We don't need to own the sky. Until then, let the rumor rest. Let the love, whatever shape it takes, breathe. And let the story, as all great stories do, remind us that sometimes the most powerful answer is the one the silence keeps.